Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Steve coming back at you again today. Hope you're having a great day. And I just want to touch on something. We're getting back to culture, which is the general theme for the types of videos I do, although sometimes it involves politics and sports, but the overarching theme really is culture. And I've been, reading articles and watching a lot of different, YouTubers, especially those who are fans of Doctor Who, with what's going on with Doctor Who and how it was destroyed in this season 12 episode, I guess, called The Timeless Child or something like that. The Timeless Child. And this follows the same lines where they basically took the Who lore and totally retconned it and made it so that Doctor Who, the very first incarnation of Doctor Who, was actually a little black girl. British show, been around for about 60 years. The very first incarnation was a little black girl. As it turns out, not even from the planet that Doctor Who was originally said to be from. And this is happening a lot in culture, in Hollywood especially. In our culture, you have a lot of social justice warriors and woke types in Hollywood who feel like it's their responsibility and their business to tell us what we need rather than give us what we want, especially when it comes to established lore and established IPs, that sort of thing. So they're real big into making sure we get what they think is best for us. And that's not the way customers should be treated. And I'm not personally, just as a, full disclosure, I'm not a big Doctor Who fan. I'm not a Doctor Who fan at all. I've never watched a show. I'm familiar with Doctor Who. This has really never been my thing. I've heard that it's really good. It's just never been my thing. But I do understand being fans of certain other science fiction lore like Star Trek, and Star Wars, and watching those two IPs be destroyed by people in Hollywood who felt what they were doing was best for us, and under the auspice of their artistic freedom, and that we're fans and we just don't know any better and we're not smart enough to know what we want, and we're incels and man babies and misogynists and racist Trump supporters and all this other BS. And the bottom line is this. I remember my mom telling me when I was a kid, a young teenager in fact, making my own money, side jobs, that kind of thing, and we're working part-time after school. And I remember her saying to me, when you're giving people your hard-earned money, you don't let them treat you any kind of way. Now, she wasn't saying I should mistreat people just because I'm giving them my money either, but I for sure should not let them mistreat me. And especially when I was a kid, especially a teenager, I noticed that happening a lot, especially amongst the teenage crowd when it came to older people, and us teens were giving people our money, and they just felt like they could talk to us any kind of way because we're kids. And so I learned at a very early age, no, you don't put up with that from people. If you're giving them your hard-earned money, they should give you a certain minimum level of respect, because that's your money. You don't owe that to them. And the problem in Hollywood and the problem in our culture is we have people running entertainment, and in politics too, by the way, who feel like when they make a mistake or they do something wrong, it's not their fault, it's ours. We're just not smart enough to understand that the toxic fans, as it's being called, or just don't know what's good for them. And the bottom line is this. You're giving these people your money. And if they give you an inferior product, you don't have to give them your money. And they're not understanding that Hollywood is so blind to this, the entertainment industry, and the media, by the way, not just Hollywood entertainment, but the media, including news media. You have, channels like CNN and MSNBC that just, CBS, ABC, NBC, they don't understand that we're consumers of their product, and the way they get paid is based on how we respond to that product. So when you have movies like Birds of Prey that apparently nobody wants to see, or what is that? The Star Trek, this new Star Trek deal with Michael Burnham, or the new Star Wars trilogy, which was trash, or Terminator Dark Fate, or all the way back to Ghostbusters 16. When you have things like this that people just don't want to see, you can't force this down the consumer's throat, or say, well, they must be racist, misogynist, man babies who sit at home and play with themselves while they're watching, playing video games. You can't treat customers that way and then say, but you better give me your money or else you're not one of us, you're not woke enough, you're not, you don't care about people, you don't care about women, whatever. You can't guilt people into giving you their hard-earned money. And for those of you who've been going through that, don't be guilted. It's money that you worked for. It's yours. They have to earn it. You don't owe it to them. And until Hollywood and the media understand this, they're going to continue to suffer. And I think that's a good thing. So there's lots of things I don't watch anymore because my mindset is until you give me what I'm looking for or something that would interest me, I am not interested in giving you my money. It's one of the reasons why I love The Witcher, that even though it's got some things they need to fix because it's not quite in line with the video game. I know the show is based on the book, largely on the books, but even then it's not quite in line. They have a few slightly woke elements they're trying to slip into. They need to veer away from and just focus on a good story and good acting. It's a pretty good show, and I actually enjoy it, so I hope to see more of it. Those kinds of things. As far as Star Wars is concerned, I dig Baby Yoda. I like The Mandalorian. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good for Star Wars. And as long as they keep Kathleen Kennedy and the rest of the Disney fools away from it, and leave Dave Filoni on it and Favreau on it, it'll be fine. Jon Favreau on it, it'll be fine. I think people who actually respect Star Wars and respect the lore and all that stuff, I think if they just leave those guys in charge of it, it'll be fine. So that's the kind of stuff we fans like. But we're not looking for you to turn around and just change everything about what we liked in the past when it comes to established properties and decide, well, what's best for us. That's why the comic book industry's fell, and Marvel Comics is almost in the toilet. DC Comics won't be far behind. Because they decided it was more important to be woke, to push SJW, a particular politic, than it was to just focus on telling good stories and have good art and things that people actually want to see and read. And until the media, entertainment, politicians understand we're not victims. America is not into victimhood. That is not how we are. That's not how we were raised. It's not our background. We're victors. We're number one. USA. That is not just some right-wing incel type of belief system. That's how we are as Americans. I've lived overseas. I've traveled overseas, and I've been told in my travels overseas, which is really funny to me, but I've been told multiple times by people who are indigenous to this country. I'll use England as an example because I lived there for 5 years and I traveled around Europe while I was there. But one of the things I got told quite a bit, especially by young ladies there, was, oh, we can tell you're American. And it's not so much about my color. They said, Americans, you guys carry yourselves differently. And I think what they were attempting to say is you have a certain bravado about how you carry yourselves just when you walk and you walk around. There's a certain confidence you walk around with. See, that's an American thing. That's not a political thing. Because back during those days when I lived there and was hanging out with my buddies and chilling in London and all the different places in Cambridge and all the different places we went to in Scotland and all this other stuff, we all had different political backgrounds. I had much different political beliefs than I have now. It's just the way that we carry ourselves. It's a belief system we have. Americans are winners. It's one of the reasons why I tell friends of mine who are big fans of the Dallas Cowboys, and they're talking about the Cowboys are America's team. America's about winning. If anybody should be America's team, it should be the Patriots. America is about winning. Now, I digress. That's a different issue. It's not. I'm just kind of trying to dial it into what I'm talking about as far as our culture. Our American culture is a culture that's positive, forward-looking, and overcoming obstacles. We're not a victim mentality culture. That is not what we come from. And for those who are trying to change us into that kind of culture, we should be ashamed of America. America's a racist country. I'm not trying to have that. I am not a victim. And I don't understand people who just have a desire to be victims or to feel victimized. I don't understand Hollywood's desire to play the victim when they give us crap that we don't want to watch. Why don't you just focus on making good stories, leave your politics out of it and your victim mentality out of it, and just give us what we are looking for when it comes to established lore. If you want to create something new and be super artistic that'll catch our attention, hey, rock and roll. We all about that. Let's do it. I love to see that kind of stuff. But if your whole goal is to take something that's established that you feel is just too misogynist or too toxically masculine or whatever, and totally change it, and we're going to make it diverse now and put women in it. By the way, when did white women being in stuff make it diverse? When did that become a thing? I don't get that at all. I don't get how that means diversity. Or we're going to change somebody's gender, or we're going to make somebody gay who was actually always straight. You know what? Miss me with all that. How about you just entertain me? If I go to McDonald's or I go to a restaurant and I order a steak and you bring me, kale, or you bring me a fish sandwich, that's not what I ordered. That's not what I was expecting. So don't expect me to pay for it, and don't lecture me on why it's better for me and I just don't understand. That's not what I was looking for. I ordered what I like, and when I was expecting one thing and you decided to turn it into something else just for my own good, don't expect me to pay you for that. And that's how the rest of us feel as a country. Don't expect us to pay you when you treat us like crap. And with that, guys, I hope you're having a great day. Remember, it's your money. When you're giving people your money, they better have a certain level of respect for you. And if they don't give them your money. Move on to something else. That's the only way the people in the entertainment industry, the media, Hollywood, politics are going to learn. And with that, have a fantastic day. I hope you're all feeling well, doing great today. I'll talk to you again soon. Take care.